episode for the day, How Not to
Breakaway.
Breakaway.
By Deba.
You'll never hear the end of it. Welcome to another episode of our learning module for newbies, and we produce these videos for most of our enrollees who underwent the biomechanical tuning and bike fitting, and it's part of their continuing learning program. Sometimes it's very important that you have visual representation of what you want to learn, because it helps the individual learn faster by visually understanding what happened during the day and be able to talk about it and discuss about it as the days or weeks progress. Today's program will be about group riding etiquette and road sharing. So everyone's going already? So today's workout is for all the CRZ newbies and enrollees. Well, we just want to stress out, there's no CRZ team, there's no CRZ cycling team. It's really mostly, hey, yo! It's really mostly for newbies who just started biking, and we had to create a platform to foster that. Hey, good morning. So that's everyone. It was a good turn. Hey, the guys from the north, Nonoy. And yeah. So this is a new diversion road that we're gonna be using for today's activity. Look at everyone. Morning. Hey. Yo, good morning. Time? Kaya pala walang mga uniform. Later, get your uniforms, huh? Okay, let's have a quick meeting, girls. Let's have a quick meeting, okay? Quick one. Hey! Boys, we're gonna meet up there to have a quick briefing. Yeah? Hey! You got a photographer. Oh, I miss you more. Looking sharp. Okay, so I guess that would be currently the students.
Yes, sir.
So if you have friends who want to experience a new lifestyle. Hey, Doc, Ina, good to see you. Hey, it's you. You're here. Perfect. Here we go. Hey, good morning, Sav. It's good to see you. So we're gonna have like a quick briefing, okay? Quick briefing. Everyone should be here. Boys, let's have a quick meeting. Okay, the girls will lead the pack. Ali, thank you. You got the radio right?
Yep.
Channel 16. Okay, Sandra, good. Okay, so the girls will lead the pack, okay? Later na yung mga chismisan, okay? You gotta take it seriously, okay?
Guilty.
So just choose the 4x4, okay? 4 abreast. Okay, the Bataan boys are almost ready. Okay, all the girls come over. Make sure you organize yourselves. So Papa Lou is already warming up. I think he's planning a breakaway. Okay. I know, right? Okay. Come on. Chuck, it's good to see you, man. Super good to see you. So that would be Sandra, Doc Ina. Okay. We hope to have the UMC riders here soon. Okay, when flights become normal, Tito Noah, you know, everyone else is welcome here. Same thing. It's all about team. Follow, everyone follows. Hey. Hi. Paniki boys, you ride with us, okay? Okay. Okay, go.
Thanks for having us.
Go. Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Morning, coach.
Okay.
Morning, coach.
Pleasure. It's good to see you.
Our favorite.
Oh, finally. And that's what it takes. Anyone's welcome over here. Okay. Tita Amy, it's good to see you. Later, Tita Amy, do you know how to drive? Okay. He's gonna drive and then a photographer will follow, okay? Okay, bye. Early morning day starts with a brief warm-up for everyone. So as everyone rolls out of the parking lot, we make our way into the highway.
Yay!
Everything, okay? That's good. You have to leave one free for motorists. As tight as possible. If you can sit in one lane, that would be beautiful to see on the video. We cannot show them that we're all over the place, okay? Very nice. Thank you.
To keep the organization consistent, everyone gets the instruction on
Morning.
the official race radio.
Morning.
Morning, Sir Tom. I love you.
I love you too.
And all you gotta do is make sure that you communicate that with
Morning.
your seatmate or the rider beside you or your friend. We usually select carless highways just for safety. It helps everyone stay calm and focused. Good job, Gina. We have to take note that most of our riders over here, they even ride mountain bikes, e-bikes, folding bikes, mountain bikes, and sometimes riding in traffic causes more stress or anxiety that takes away the fun in learning. Stay on a straight line, don't overlap, okay? One of the positives that came out with this untimely 2-year lockdown as the boom in cycling, most of our friends, neighbors, or even people who never thought about cycling started to get into biking. But it also caused a lot of challenges for most local roads, especially open roads. People who go to work, people who use their bikes to go to other destinations. And the lack of, you can say, a hub of learning on how to share the road with local motorists has posed its own inherent problem. So this training camps that you see over here is a regular feature when you're part of the CRZ program. And again, we're just gonna stress out that CRZ is not a team, it's not a cycling team, it's not a racing team, it's not all about that team. It's all about um, local communities or individuals who wanted to try out what cycling is all about. I'm sure when you were a kid, you've had your first taste of independence using your bicycle, your scooter, your three-wheelers. But after that, as the years go by, you totally forget. So this is just one of those training camps for adults who wanted to go biking again, but don't have a group or a platform that share the same script or choreography. So as you can see here, everyone is literally just practicing how to ride in a large group. And riding in large groups can be very dangerous. The reason is, if you don't trust the person in front of you, just like here, Deva is behind Janelle. If Janelle unnecessarily brakes or swerve, then there's going to be a domino effect all the way at the back. So in this scenario, everyone, including Janelle, who's leading the pack, behind her is Deva, behind her is MJ, behind MJ is Doc Ina, the one with the pink bike and blue. They are now learning how to be hypersensitive. Peripheral vision, you have to be aware of what the other person is doing in front of you, which means that instead of looking too far in front of the group, you have to be able to read the body language of the person in front of you. So, for example, if MJ stops pedaling, Doc Ina will also stop pedaling. It's a sign that there must be danger or she's ready to slow down. You just don't unnecessarily brake. Although you can put your hands on the brake just to flick them. No hard braking, or else the domino effect will go all the way to the back and that causes accident. Deva, as she takes over, she can save a lot of energy by going in a smaller frontal surface area. It's basically like slicing the wind, and you can go at a faster speed at a lower effort. And Doc Ina is also demonstrating how she's doing that. She has, bent elbows just to slice through the wind. It's the most efficient way of doing it. Everyone else is doing low RPM cadence. It's just because not everyone is fit on this group, so high RPM is equal to high heart rate. So instead of working too much on high heart rate, everyone's training how to improve their torque effectiveness. Here's Seth and Gab side by side on their fancy multi-spoke bikes. Everyone's just following. If you're not comfortable yet, leave a space. A maximum of one bike length in front of the person in front of you is more than enough. As the group starts chugging along and getting more comfortable with the proximity distance from everyone else, they start naturally rolling faster and faster and faster. There's still some cracks in the group at the moment, because everyone's still getting their bearings straight. You have to remember that most of these people only met today. Like in any standard newbie training camp, the basics of open road riding, the girls take charge for the first 40 kilometers. So this is an 80-kilometer ride. The standard procedure is the girls, some of them newbies, some of them just got their bike fit maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. They are in charge of keeping the pace together and sharing the load.
Gusto yata mauna.
Learning how to communicate amongst themselves, and the objective is they have to stay on the right side of the road to give motorists space on the other side. right at this moment, we're like guiding the girls on the right side of the road. So behind me is Tank, behind me is Eros, behind me are the CRZ Team 1. And the CRZ Women's Group are on the right side. If you notice, if you remember, they just had their episodes for their bike fitting. And we shadow them on the left side of the road so that they can follow a very specific rhythm. Because if you let them go, they just attack themselves. They go bananas. So we just have to guide them because this is a learning experience. You can only do so much and so much talking and Googling and YouTubing. Unless you experience it, it's never gonna happen. So I think they're doing a great job. As Deva takes charge in front, she does not accelerate, doing a great job by not dropping her teammate MJ. She just has to continue the speed of the person in front of her. Same thing with Deva. As soon as she overtakes the person in front of her, all she has to do is just maintain the same speed. You never jump the gun because you're not impressing anyone. If you jump the gun and accelerate, you're just gonna leave everyone behind, and that would not be very ideal. The exciting part of this training camp is that everyone gets to experience being in front, being responsible, understanding that being in front is a lot harder than being at the back, because when you're in front, 100% of the wind resistance goes to you. When you're at the back with the proper drafting distance, you get to save as much as 30 to 40%. And the moment that you start gaining the confidence of the person in front of you, like everyone's now moving in sync, everyone's on the same gear, everyone's on the same posture and position, the speed just naturally happens, just like so. So everyone's starting to ride just like so. Rosie, Ira, Alu, and Fami, the 4 girls here behind us, are setting a very, very good tempo, very good cadence, no twitching, no swerving, and the girls are doing it perfectly. As soon as Deva finishes, Janelle takes over again. They just share the load. MJ just stands by. Doc Ina just stands by, and as we go through the halfway mark of the program, the men's group, which is strictly on the left side of the peloton, we ride side by side beside them so they can mirror the other group's movement and formation. So this is what we call choreography and scripted riding. It's all about experiencing it on the road, very safe roads, so that you can apply this in real world situation when you go out on open highways where you have to be very predictable. So as you can hear from the background, I am giving everyone instructions, direct feedback, and this is what makes a difference. You give people direct feedback, they can react immediately and understand what's happening. Part of the course is a long, dragging climb. It starts at 2% gradient, 3%, all the way to 5%. And even at 5% gradient, you'll notice that the girls demonstrating it perfectly here. You don't have to stand up, you don't have to accelerate, you don't have to panic.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Wait for Judy.
Alisa, who just started biking during the pandemic from Iloilo, perfectly follows the instructions without dropping Judy. Sandra follows,
Close the gap.
followed by Ate May. And this discipline shows you that when you are on a climb, you don't have to attack it or else you're gonna blow up. So instead, what the girls are doing right now, as soon as they crest the summit of the climb, they start chasing and accelerating on the downhill. Because accelerating on the downhill requires less wattage instead of attacking the uphill, which would blow up your heart rate and, well, makes you recover longer. So this strategy and technique is very well choreographed, especially useful for large groups where gaps and splinters are not favorable. Tank slows down, freewheels, just to make sure everyone catches up at the back. And then the moment that everyone is behind you, just like how the Padiki cycling team is demonstrating here, everyone goes back to the line and goes back to work again. The girls have slowly understood the value of proximity, eliminating gaps. Alisa, who was the one in charge with Fami on the climb, are now resting. And for them to be able to rest, they just have to draft. When Judy finishes her pull, all you gotta do is just slide back, go back again to the line, strictly, not go around in circles, and then be able to recover for the longest mileage. Paniki cycling takes over the right side of the road. CRZ cycling will take charge of the left side of the road, and this will go on for the next 40 kilometers until the girls are finished with their workouts. After the girls finish their workouts, the boys will take over. It will become a ride of attrition. The goal is to be able to finish 80 kilometers. We allow everyone to catch up in the entire group as we chug along the main highway. The distance in between riders should be very constant, just to avoid rubbing shoulders, because obviously everyone's not accustomed to that yet. And to make everything more predictable, we leave a space in the middle between the two groups. This is also very useful for motorists at the back because you become very predictable. One of the safety issues for drivers is the unpredictability of large cycling groups. If you maintain this position for the longest time, you allow the driver or the traffic behind you to be able to make smart reactions, smart decisions, and predictable movements. So this is very important for safety. And at the same time, we always avoid swerving without making predictable gestures. So as you can see, I am demonstrating here that even though I'm riding in the middle of the peloton, I am not nervous because everyone is instructed not to unnecessarily swerve. So this test with me riding in the middle without fear of getting bumped or break that is possible because everyone is properly communicated. You just saw that car passing by on the left side of the road. That is possible because the car is very confident that him passing that side, that lane is okay because the riders are showing predictable movements. So as we go over the overpass, go through the U-turn, the first 40-kilometer ride will be over soon, and everyone's doing the same gear, everyone's on the same posture, everyone's just staying calm, because as the speeds start ramping up, then that would be the main bulk of the workout for the men's group. Hill, who's just passing through the camera, is from Davao, so we have a lot of guests coming from all over the Philippines, and as he prepares for Ironman, he thinks that there's value learning how to ride in large groups like this, in safe highways, and it could also be very beneficial for most people who want to try out biking. And that's what CRZ platform is all about. It's all about a venue where people can learn with other people because everyone's doing exactly the same thing. So as we do a rundown of the entire remaining group, we could see that everyone's still doing exactly the same formation. Nobody swerves around, nobody makes unnecessary movements. Our gentleman over here is 60-year-old Tito Rodel, and speeds slowly ramp up.
Single face line, okay? Don't overlap. Single face line, don't overlap.
It's a beautiful sight to see a group of cyclists being very disciplined on the main highway. And if we can make this an example for other teams or clubs, especially the youngsters. It would totally change the mutual respect between bikers and motorists. And I think small videos like this that we produce help a lot of our viewers and people who participated in this camp. They can go back home, check out YouTube again, and be able to review what they just did. Here's an example where Doc Ina takes charge. The girls are still here. They've started to create confidence. Now they can ride in the closest proximity possible. If you notice a while ago at the start of the program, the girls were a little bit hesitant. Now they're now riding closer and closer and closer and closer. Rosie takes charge as we reach the end of this road, and everyone passes me in a very predictable way. Nobody's shouting. You will never hear anyone shouting, pointing fingers, shouting dog, 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 or whatnot, because that just creates more confusion and panic. So all you gotta do is to make sure that you stay quiet and then read the body language of the person in front of you. This high-speed pass is a very good example how people can stay calm and make people feel comfortable by avoiding unnecessary shouting, cursing, and unavoidable or avoidable chit-chatting.
Right side of the road. Good job, Justin.
"40 kilometers is done, so the boys will now start taking charge of the pace. The girls can rest. They went back to the tent. And now the whole men's team, the whole men's group, will start rolling for the next 40 kilometers. So the total ride for this particular camp will be 80 kilometers. It will now become a ride of attrition. So all you have to do is just to follow the wheel in front of you, draft as long as you can. If you get dropped, your job is to make your own group at the back. And as the speeds start upping up, people started to find their own groupings based on their fitness level. So regardless of what groupings you fall into, the same choreography, the same script applies. So for this particular one, the group already fractured, and we have a few guys over here led by Matt. Behind him is third. Behind third would be Tom, me, Eros, and everyone else. So I think this will be the final composition of the final 40 kilometers, as everyone else has been gapped and are doing their own ride. What Matt is doing right now is that he's trying to close the gap to the Paniki cycling group. Pretty strong bunch of boys, very, very strong. Obviously, they know what they're doing. They're riding very smoothly. We had to have a whole armada of riders working meticulously on target just to close the gap with the red boys. And it took a while for us to close the gap, but as soon as we closed the gap, thanks to Matt, we had to stick there. So there you go. There's the first red guy, Ian. And then as soon as Matt does his job of closing the gap with the Paniki men, third takes charge with Tom assigned behind him just to make sure he doesn't go crazy and just attacks. Third is 18 years old, so he needs a lot of guidance as he goes along.
Ayan na si Bong!
As we reach the tail end of the Paniki boys cycling team, we ask for reinforcement and Bong comes through. And all we had to do right now is just to enjoy the ride. Bong takes charge and he has to roll the dice as long as he can and let everyone rest behind him. We have to take note that this is Bong's job. So it was predetermined that this is his job, so he does it willingly. This turned out to be a drag race for both teams because the rule is you cannot use someone else's team to draft behind, so you stick with your team. And to stick with your team, you gotta work your strategy by choosing which rider, what effort, what speed, and nobody wants to give in at this moment. So the Paniki cycling team are howling, and Bong is under pressure not to give way, and at the same time he's leaving a gap with the third's struggling just to keep up with Bong. And this is one of the problems that we're trying to solve during this camps. It's really about communication. Third could not close the gap with Bong, so he needed help by calling Tank to close the gap for us, and he's just gonna rest. Bong's job is just to keep on hauling. He's not gonna accelerate, he's not gonna slow down. It's our job as the team to make sure that we're behind him. Tank has been very reliable. I have to just stay behind him and just close the gap. The speeds are so high at this moment that the red boys on the right side of the road have been gapped briefly, for sure. And we tell Bong just to slow down just a little bit, because if he keeps this going, he's just gonna kill everyone behind him, and that's not the point of team time trial. Team time trials is all about communication and keeping your boys intact. Everyone has a role. The reason why some of the boys at the back are not in front is because their job happens at the latter end of the course. Bong is training for Ironman, so this is an optimum opportunity for him to really work on his time trialing skills. Tank job is to stay with the group for the final sprint. Eros's job, the boy behind me, his job is to bring us in the final 3 kilometers of this course. And true enough, the red men come back strong. And we just had to tell Bong not to panic anymore. Don't go on a drag race, or else he's just gonna blow all his teammates. It was a sight to behold to see two teams riding side by side, cadence for cadence, heart rate for heart rate, wattage for wattage. At the end of the day, the name of the game is all about efficiency. Who's got the best posture, who's most aerodynamic. And Bong here, sometimes he forgets, he just accelerates, and this is a common mistake for most individual time trialists because they forget about communication. The boys at the back, we've perfected this. Bong, the reason why he's gapping us is because he missed a few months of training with the group, so he's not calibrated a bit on the communication side, but we get him back anyway. And this is why training as a team is very important, highly important, because it's not all about who's the strongest, it's not all about who's got the best legs of the day, it's also about communication. You have to remember that racing as a group is way, way faster than being just one person.
Left, left, left. Stay left. Rider to the right.
Team time trials or team riding is an art form in itself. Most of our friends at the moment think that team time trials or formation riding is all about who's got the best wattage, who can squeeze more power in front. In as much as wattage and power and speed is very important, one of the aspects that is usually misunderstood or not given enough attention is communication and management of power. This particular exercise that we're doing right now, we've selected the top 10 or 15 riders for CRZ who can push this massive gears at this speed. And beside us will be the super fast boys from Paniki, Tarlac. These guys are well drilled. They've been cycling since time immemorial, and they really showcase it, obviously, just by looking at the way they're riding. It's also about communication. You have to remember that racing as a group is way, way faster than being just one person. And this is a beautiful demonstration by the Red Boys, who keep chasing us because they're working so well together even on road bikes. They're so well drilled by their coach that they're making it look easy. And as a bunch of newbies from CRZ, it's a huge challenge for them just to ride on the slipstream of the Paniki cycling team. After a very long 80 kilometers of paceline riding, the guys left for CRZ versus the guys left for Paniki cycling became a very exciting, friendly match. So for this particular section of the road with 3 kilometers to go, it would be a drag race between these two teams. Now the rules are, you cannot hijack another team's train. You have to stay with your own train. You have to stay with your own lead out. The other team would stay on the one side of the road and they stay on the other edge of the road. So this one, it became a seesaw battle. One team would lead and then the other team would overtake. It was a matter of organizing your own team. And then in this final K, third, our junior rider took charge to overtake.
Man, you guys gotta get the rider from Paniki to drop. Never mind, never mind. Let's go.
So for this part, third was the one in charge to close the gap in the final 2 kilometers. So meaning that Gab, Abraham, Eros, Jay, they are the ones in charge in bringing Tom and me in the final 500 meters. The rest of the guys are there as insurance.
Gabi, nandyan lang ah. Gabi is right behind you.
Come left, come left. Left line, left line.
So as the closing kilometers go by, we were very successful in closing the gap with the Red Boys. And at this moment, we had to keep the pace rolling just so that the speed doesn't go down. So third's done.
Wait lang, Jess. Gab! Forward, Gab! Wait lang, Jess, wait.
Steady, Aero, stop that.
I tell Gabby to go to the front. Do I tell Gabby to go to the front?
Yeah. Tell God please side to go to the front and Matt. We need them.
Wala na si Matt, Gab and Louie.
Okay, Gab and Louie.
Gab and Louie, go to the front! Gab and Louie!
Come on.
Go!
Steady, Louie. Steady and Gab.
As soon as he's done, Aros takes over. He has to keep the pace as steady as possible without breaking the boys at the back. If you break away on your own, everything becomes useless. So communication is key. We tend to shout, we give signals, we give all this stuff just to make sure that everyone's aware of what's happening. We get some help from the cavalry. Gab, who's been resting at the back, finally gets his shit here. He was amazing. He was pulling around 52 to 55 kilometers per hour, and he was the reason why we were able to pull away with Louis. Louis part of the Bataan Boys chapter with Ralph. Gab here just works his way through, slicing the wind for us, and as soon as he's done, he just swings to the right, just like so, and Louis, on cue, takes charge. The rest of us, we have to do close proximity drafting. Louis' job is to keep this pace until he cracks. Eros will have to take charge, the second guy on the wheel, when Louis is done. And Eros's role here is very crucial because he's the guy who needs to pull the longest and bring us to the final 500 meters. Tank and I stay in front of the wheels of the boys, conserving energy as much as possible. The reason why Tank is my lead out guy is because he's got the maximum amount of surface area that would give me maximum benefit and save as much as 50% on energy when speeds go up to 50 kilometers per hour. So when you plan your lead out train, body shape is very important. So Louis is done. As soon as Louis swings off, Eros takes charge on cue. And Eros' job is to bring Jay as close as possible to the final 1 kilometer or 500 meters. And then Jay would have to take us all the way to the finish line, then Tank. So at this moment, the silhouette from behind, the Red Boys are still there. You can literally see them from that shot. And if you slow down here or you blow up your train, they can easily just close that gap down. What is surprising is that all these boys started with the learning module of basic group riding, just like the ones that was previously shown, where the girls took charge first and everyone just had to follow. Following wheels, learning the body language of the teammate in front of you, you will notice that there's less pointing on the road for road furnitures or dangers on the road. When you start training like a well-drilled team, you start to save a lot of energy from looking left and right, looking for rocks, looking for potholes, because the job of Eros, who's now leading us, is to find the best path forward And all he has to do is just focus on the task at hand instead of pointing, shouting at dangers ahead. As soon as he's done, and he just empties his tank for one last time, Jay behind him is just waiting for the cue until he puts on the afterburners. And Jay is our insurance over here because he's a very good time trialist, unassuming time trialist. When you look at this guy, he looks very simple. And Eros gives the signal to Jay. Jay accelerates so fast. His acceleration was so violent. He drops the second guy in the road. So now we are panicking, and I have to tell Tank to close the gap to Jay. And just on time, Tank had to empty the tank, bring me to the final 200 meters. Just like what we practice in Clark, every time, everywhere. And just like on cue, just like on Cagayan de Oro, you time your sprint, not too early, not too short, just enough to reach that finish line on maximum potential. Thank you very much for watching, and that was it. That was a good lead out from Tank. This is stuff that you can do with your friends.
Okay, that's what we call a workout, huh?
Yo! I miss you already.
Ano, bukas, ano ka ba? Dito ka lang ako.
Matt, thank you very much. Thank you, man. Jessica, tell him to listen to instruction. Scav, thank you very much.
Yes! Nice move!
Ali, hey kids, CRZ kids. Oh, yung mga under sa mga asawa at girlfriend. Ha? Thank you very much. We'll see you. One dance number, one wave. 1, 2, 3, go. Yan. Yun. Oh, nasa si Deva. Punch up.
Oh, you know
It's so cold. Oh my god. I hate you. Bye. Boys, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, pakidalhin na sa city jail to ha. Oh, magpakabait kayo sa rehab ha. Pakidala sa rehab to. Bye, see you. See you again, Sam. Paniki Tarlac. Bye. See you again. Yeah, it's not mine, but nobody wants to take it, so I'm just gonna take it. Happy birthday, Lan. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I hope you got surprised with my... Thanks for going. Thank you. Wow, now you're ready for Iron Man. Perfect. So next step will be Iron Man couple. Parang frat school ah.
ng Barbie. Ganito pala itsura pag... Yun, kain na kain. Happy birthday. Yeah. Well, hey! Hey! Chris, huh? What's happening? Olympic? Hey! Hey! Oh, there's even a private alone. Hey! Hey!
Maybe you can love it.
Hey! 1, 2, 3. One more. Perfect. Oh, sige, laban pa. Yeah! Wow, so sweet. Para mag-jowa lang ah. Way! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Dapat na pumunta yung dito.
Rockstar! Woo! OMG! Thank you! Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! One! One, two! Woo! Perfect! Happy birthday! Ikaw ah! Yon!
That's how you know Papa Louie loves us more. Right there. Cute, no? Saka yung sauce.
Perfect! Tank approved?
Oh yeah.
Approved? Yeah, I can see your eye. I can see you doing that. Kayo ah? Wow! Sandan, ba't nauna ka pa sa birthday celebrant?
Alright, everyone. One, two, happy birthday.
mga... Kayo, ikaw ha? Ikaw, lalo na ikaw! Ikaw ang gumawa nito! Si Joy na to ha? Coach, promotor yun. Ako si Muno ha? Oh, ito pa, ito. Pako naman. Hey! Dito na!
Mamaya na lang daw, mamaya. Kumakain siya. Pero mamaya, bibili ka.
Ikaw ha? Suportahan mo ako? Paano yan?
I'm not a queen. Panahon natin ay mag-iiba, kaya lumingin.
Machismosa kayo! Mga, sinong marites dito? Sinong marites? Hoy, mga marites! So thank you very much for watching this episode. Okay, that's our artist. Yeah. So bright. Okay, bye. Okay, so we want to invite everyone. That's how it works out every day. Have fun, be healthy.
Yep.
Join us, and then thanks for watching this episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're a monster.